new leak indicates that 3 months before the Nord Stream pipeline was bombed last September, a close ally to the Biden administration informed the White House about a Ukrainian military plan to essentially launch a covert attack on the undersea network. Now, they would use a small team of divers who would report to the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian armed forces. How do we know about this? How do we know that the White House was briefed on this? Well, it's thanks to the leak that happened on Discord. Let me give you more details on that. Details about the plan, which have not been previously reported, were collected by a European intelligence service and shared with the CIA in June of 2022. The European intelligence reporting was shared on the chat platform Discord, allegedly by Air National Guard member Jack Teixeira. The Washington Post obtained a copy from one of Teixeira's online friends. Now, what did that document indicate? Well, it did indicate that the Ukrainian military had a plan in place to essentially carry out this attack on Nord Stream 1 specifically. So the intelligence report was based on intel obtained by an individual in Ukraine. The officials in the United States have confirmed this document and I guess the veracity of the document. It is confirmed. It's not some fake, document that someone's trying to plant as a hoax. The intelligence report or the sources for the information could not be immediately corroborated, but the CIA shared the report with Germany and other European countries last June. Okay, so this is intel that was shared not only with the United States, but also with our European allies. Now, according to the leaked documents, the Ukrainians had planned to attack the pipeline on the heels of a major allied naval exercise known as Baltops, which ran from June 5th to 17th of 2022, according to the report. The intelligence summary says that the Ukrainian military operation was put on hold for reasons that remain unclear. Okay, and I want to just stop for a second and provide this caveat. Although we have this document, although we know the Ukrainian military was planning to, conduct this operation and attack the Nord Stream pipeline, it is still not 1000% confirmed that they're the ones behind it. If we were to speculate though, I would speculate that they were behind it. And I'll tell you why as I give you more details. Cenk, do you want to jump in real quick?
Yeah, I hesitate even calling it speculation. They have pretty overwhelming evidence.
Yeah, you're gonna hear it in a minute.
Yeah, it's not just that one leak. There's several different things that confirm that it's in that direction. Plus common sense, guys. I mean, common sense always told you the Russians are not likely to blow up their own multi-billion-dollar pipelines just to do a false flag and I got you on Ukraine. And the consequences of this as it relates to how the West is gonna support Ukraine is also very interesting. For now, for me, I think the issue is settled. It is very, very likely that the Ukrainians, and I'm on the Ukrainian side. I want them to win. I think it was terrible that they were invaded, but I'm not sure this was a good idea.
So when Cenk mentions that there are now multiple sources, it's not just this document that was leaked by Teixeira. The German government also conducted their own investigations, and we're gonna get to the findings of that investigation in just a moment. So again, going back to the document, all those involved reported directly to General Valery Zaluzhny, which is the country's highest ranking military officer. They did not want Zelensky to know about this, according to the document. They wanted everyone to report specifically to this military general who was put in charge so that Ukraine's president, Zelensky, wouldn't know about the operation, the intelligence report said. Okay, so keeping Zelensky out of the loop would have given the Ukrainian leader basically a plausible way to deny that Ukraine was behind it. So if Zelensky's been denying it, there is a plausible reason why he's doing so. He might not have known that they had conducted this attack. Now, before the war, Germany got half of its natural gas from Russia and also had long championed the project in the face of opposition from other European allies. And so Germany finding out that Ukraine was behind it would be a little bit disastrous because right now Germany obviously is supporting Ukraine. Now, according to German law enforcement officials investigating the September Nord Stream bombing, key details emerging of that operation actually do line up quite a bit with this intel report. So let's get to that. The Ukrainian individual that informed the European Intelligence Service in June said that 6 members of Ukraine's Special Operations Forces using false identities intended to rent a boat and using a submersible vehicle dived to the floor of the Baltic Sea, then damaged or destroyed the pipeline and escape undetected. In addition to oxygen, the team planned to bring helium, which is recommended for especially deep dives. Now let's get to the German investigation. German investigators now believe that 6 individuals using fake passports rented a sailing yacht in September, embarked from Germany, and planted explosives that severed the pipelines, according to officials familiar with that investigation. They believe that operatives were skilled divers, given that the explosives were planted at a depth of about 240 feet, in the range that experts say helium would be helpful for maintaining mental focus. And Ukraine obviously had reason to want to bomb this pipeline. So Ukraine had long complained that Nord Stream would allow Russia to bypass Ukrainian pipes, depriving Kyiv of huge transit revenue. Also, investigators have matched explosive residue found on the pipeline to traces found inside the cabin of the yacht called Andromeda. And they have linked Ukrainian individuals to the rental of the boat via an apparent front company in Poland. Investigators also suspect that at least one individual who serves in the Ukrainian military was involved in the sabotage operation. I mean, we've got more, we're gonna give you more, but like, come on, guys. I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it looks like we got an Andromeda strain here. All right, so does Zelensky know? I don't really much care. They say they didn't tell him so they could have plausible deniability, but that's exactly what they would say if they told him and he was part of the decision, and then everybody in the room went, remember, Zelensky wasn't here. Okay, so that also happens. Okay, so we'll never know. We'll probably never know. But it doesn't matter why, because Ukraine did it. If Ukraine did it, it is what it is. Either you couldn't get control of your own government or you were part of the decision. Either way, it's on your government, okay? So that's number one. Number two is, we knew ahead of time, the US did. And we either couldn't stop them or we didn't stop them. Now, the Ukrainians not only benefit in terms of the war by blowing this up, but as Anna just read you the quote, they also benefit economically. They never liked the pipeline in the first place because it was costing some of the powerful people in Ukraine money. And that's a giant factor here. We also didn't want that pipeline because we want to sell natural gas and other fuels to Europe. So, oh golly gee, did their pipeline blow up? Oh, okay.
Well, in fact, I do want to get to what the White House was up to in terms of messaging on this, because what they were saying publicly differed from what they started to believe privately and internally, okay? So some Biden administration officials, as the Washington Post writes, initially suggested that Russia was to blame for what President Biden called a deliberate act of sabotage, promising that the United States would work with its allies to get to the bottom of exactly what happened. But then Biden administration officials now privately concede there is no evidence that conclusively points to Moscow's involvement, but publicly they have deflected questions about who might be responsible. And look, our European allies apparently are no better when it comes to this because they're doing the same thing. This excerpt from this Washington Post piece was telling and incredible. European officials in several countries have quietly suggested that Ukraine was behind the attack, but resisted publicly saying so over fears that blaming Kyiv would fracture the alliance against Russia. At gatherings of European and NATO policymakers, officials have settled into a rhythm, as one senior European diplomat said recently, don't talk about Nord Stream. It's so it's embarrassing, it really is. I mean, come on.
Apparently that's first rule of the European club is we don't talk about the Nord Stream or maybe the European club, but altogether. Anyway, enough movie references. So look, Anna and I had a discussion about the F-16s and whether we should sell them to Ukraine. It wouldn't be us directly, but it'd be other allies, but they'd be selling our F-16s basically, right? And so included with the technology. And one of the reasons we did not sell it before because we were worried they were gonna use it inside Russia. and that was going to be deeply problematic. And Anna, you were both a little bit wrong and significantly right? In terms of this article and what it shows about what we'll do. You said, oh, come on, we can't stop them from doing anything. And this article shows that on a number of occasions, we actually did pull the Ukrainians back from being more aggressively attacking Russia, inside Russia, okay? So that's the part where you were a little wrong. Apparently we do push back and sometimes we do succeed. But the part you were massively right is they're dying to attack inside Russia.
They've been doing it with drone strikes and everything.
And that's right.
Yeah.
And we've stopped a lot of it, but we haven't stopped all of it. But the minute they have the F-16s, I mean, it's not the minute. Like, because they still need more weapons from us, they still need more money from us. So we have some leverage over them, but they're itching to attack inside Russia all the way into Moscow. And so
it's the minute those F-16s of war, it's an escalation of war. All these wannabe leftists running around spouting pro-war rhetoric to essentially provide cover for an escalation of war. Just understand what you're doing. You are justifying an escalation of war while pretending like peace negotiations are out of the question. They could never happen. They could never happen. What happened to the left being anti-war?
Yeah.
And pro-peace, what happened to that?
So the hashtag Anna was right that I was getting to is
you haven't even gotten there. So
no, I have basically, but my point is that in that story, Anna said there's an excellent chance that they will use these F-16s inside Russia once they have them. And after reading this piece and all the evidence of how much they want to attack inside Russia and how little they listen to us, yeah, it's going to get bad. They're going to. I'm not saying definitely, but now I think it's likely that at some point Ukraine will stop listening to us entirely and start attacking inside Russia. And then you got a bigger war.
Absolutely.
And then I don't know what we're going to do with that.
All right, but apparently the left-wing position now is Russia bad, Ukraine good. So regardless of what Ukraine could do, regardless of what kind of escalation of war we are encouraging as their Western ally, since Russia bad and Ukraine good, we have to cheerlead everything that Ukraine's doing. No, I don't comply to that. And I think that's stupid, unnuanced thinking. Go ahead and get mad about it.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.